All right, good Monday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. Hope everyone's doing well today. It's still a cold one here in the Texas Panhandle, and we will get another cold night tonight before a brief, and again, I want to emphasize brief warming period for Tuesday afternoon. We do expect another front to arrive later this week towards Wednesday. That's going to set the stage for us to really just spend most of the week below average for those temperatures. We're also tracking a potential weather maker for Wednesday night and Thursday. We'll see if we can maybe squeeze out a little moisture here in the high plains. Looks like it might be snow if it is going to be any kind of precipitation. So we'll have to break down those details in your full forecast here over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Right now, you're taking a look at radar and water vapor imagery. It is December 1st. We are in the final month of 2025. Where has the year gone? It's almost 4 p.m. here in Amarillo. And again, you can see some of that light snow just kind of working its way through parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. We did not see much of that here. Maybe a quick flurry or two for a couple places, but outside of that, no measurable snow in the panhandles. The temperature right now is 41 degrees out at the airport, 37 in Perryton. Pampa's at 41, Borger at 40 degrees. Those winds still from the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour, kind of providing that bite to the air. The wind chills are down to around freezing, so that jacket is definitely necessary if you are outside or plan on being outside. Tonight, we're going to have another frigid start. Tomorrow morning, we'll be down into the upper teens. We got down to 16 this morning here in Amarillo. Maybe not quite as cold tomorrow morning, but still plenty below freezing. So just make sure that you do bundle up before heading outdoors. Dress in layers. The highs tomorrow really won't be that bad. We'll actually get into the upper 50s and lower 60s, which is pretty close to normal. Average high being 55 degrees. It does change quickly, though. We will end up seeing our next cold front come through towards the middle of Wednesday, and that's really going to set the stage for a very cold finish to the work week. And again, maybe even having that chance for some precipitation come Thursday morning. So as we get into Wednesday afternoon, you can see there's some of that rain snow mix. I would lean towards it being probably all snow up there in Colorado and northwest New Mexico or northeast New Mexico and the northwest panhandles. Those temperatures, I know that you see them in the 30s and 40s above freezing, but our dew points are expected to drop below 30 degrees very quickly. In fact, our dew points will probably run somewhere around 23 to 25 degrees. And so we'll do what's called wet bulbing down to probably around 30 to 32. Should we see any precipitation set in? I mean, you can see Clayton, it's wet bulbs to 29, wet bulbing to 30 there in Boise City. So you might get like a 5 minute window where you get some light rainfall. It's probably just going to be some slushier flakes, though, if it does get down to the ground. And as we get further into the evening, you can see that band of snow trying to set up shop over parts of New Mexico. This is the next thing that we're going to have to really watch. Again, this is something that's probably going to be much more narrow than what the model is portraying here. This is going to be probably a very confined band of snowfall. I don't think we're going to see a lot from it, should we see anything at all, but it is something that we're going to need to monitor. We'll probably see a light dusting in some areas wherever it does inevitably set up, but this is a similar situation to what we had today. This is a positively tilted trough that's going to sweep across the area. It's going to move from west to east very quickly. Again, positive tilt troughs usually struggle to pull in moisture. And if we do see moisture associated with them, it's almost always a limited amount. I mean, we're talking just a few hundredths of an inch of precipitation, maybe a tenth of an inch in some areas. And so it's really going to, again, we're going to have a lot of help in order to get some kind of meaningful snow accumulations out of this event. I'm going to go ahead and pull over a couple of things that I do want to show you. Just from a forecasting standpoint, just looking at dynamics, let's go ahead and start with the jet stream above our heads. So this is the North American model. This is kind of the shorter range model. But again, you can see we've got this really strong swath of winds here out ahead of the trough, or at least that open wave, short wave that we're expected to see swing through the area on Thursday and Friday. So modeling, usually having this thing kind of set up that chance for some snow potential a little after midnight on Wednesday and into Thursday morning. There is a very subtle jet streak in here. We don't like being in the left entrance region or the right exit region of this, but you can see there is maybe a brief window where the jet streak isn't hurting us, probably not helping us much though. Maybe a little bit of some divergence aloft up here around midnight Thursday morning. So we'll see if that can maybe help set us up with the chance for a little bit of some ascent, but again, we do end up in the left entrance region very quickly. So I'm not going to put too much weight in this actually helping us out in regards to seeing any kind of precipitation. Now, what I do think is going to probably bode a little bit better for us is what we call positive vorticity. Positive vorticity is known to help with the vertical motion in the atmosphere. So all of these colors you see here over in New Mexico, these flow downstream of these isobars. And you can see that we've got, again, a lot of some sharper heights out here, at least some higher vorticity values out here over New Mexico that are going to be advecting into the western sides of the panhandle. This is midnight on Thursday morning. You can see some of those better shortwave perturbations providing us some nice vorticity there as that stuff starts to stream across heading into Thursday morning. And then by Thursday afternoon, we're seeing, again, a lot of sinking air behind this as a lot of this stuff ends up in parts of Oklahoma. And so there's probably going to be about a 6 to 8 hour window where we do maybe get a little bit of some help in the middle layers of the atmosphere. Another thing that we'll have to keep an eye on is our humidity level. And this is, I think, going to be another key. You can really see where that front is aloft on Wednesday. You can see some better moisture at 700 millibars funneling in behind it. As we get into midnight, you can see we've got a nice chunk of moisture here. It's not exceptionally high. I think some of these higher values are floating right around that like 90 percentile range. So it's not a lot of moisture, but probably enough to certainly at least allow for some cloud cover. You can see there's kind of a drier tongue in here as well. But we maybe do get a couple of hours early Thursday morning where the humidity value at 700 millibars is probably high enough to warrant at least cloud cover. And then looking at those temperatures, you can see, I mean, we're right there around like that -6, -7 range, a little bit lower, right around 6 p.m. Wednesday nights when our temperatures below that start falling below freezing, and they stay below freezing up until probably Thursday afternoon. So the window that we're looking at, I would heavily lean towards this probably being a snow event if we're going to see anything come to fruition. As you get further down here into southeast Texas, you get back into West Texas, like Lubbock and Midland, Odessa, the warm nose is going to be a little bit more in play down there, but I would suggest that we'll probably just be dealing with snow up here in our viewing area if we do inevitably end up seeing precipitation unfold. So what do the ensembles say? Well, we've got your three lists of criteria here. The That's It, which is just measurable snow. It's 1/10 of an inch. The Hey Snow, which is 1 inch of snow accumulation. And then the Make It Stop being 5+ inches of snow, which is what we consider winter storm warning criteria here in Amarillo. So you can see there's still a very huge disparity in the GFS and the European and the Canadian. Now, the GFS is what we would consider to be the outlier at this point in time. I think a lot of this has to do with just how confined the band of snow is going to be. We think there's going to be something that sets up, just a matter of where is going to be the bigger question that we still need to hash out in those fine details. But trying to forecast where a small 20-mile wide band of snow sets up is going to be extremely difficult 72 hours out in advance. So this is just something that we're going to have to watch. I would lean towards this being more in New Mexico rather than the panhandles, just given where the moisture and the better dynamics are at. But certainly could still see maybe some light snow even here in the panhandles as well. Just the further west you go, I think those chances of seeing maybe something measurable is going to be a little bit higher. As we get towards the 1 inch benchmark or threshold, GFS saying probably not going to happen. And then the Canadian ensemble says there's about a 1 in 5 chance that we maybe get an inch of snow in Amarillo. And the European has about half of the ensemble suggesting that we could see 1 inch of snow. And again, that I think has a lot to do with where the dynamics are placed on each of these three different models and their ensemble members. The European having this stuff a little bit further to the east and southeast, whereas the American having a lot of this stuff more centered over southern Colorado and northeast New Mexico. So that has, I think, a big reason as to why you see that big shift in confidence and percentage chances at reaching certain thresholds of snowfall. So here's our forecast. This is what we're going with for right now. This is your chance to see 1 inch of snow. I still think we're in the keep dreaming scenario here in Amarillo, but you get further west, there's probably going to be a better opportunity for that. We may even expand some of this a little bit further north to include a good chunk of Union County as well. I think Union and Quay County, maybe parts of Curry County are going to stand the best chance to see an inch of snowfall through this 24-hour window, Thursday night, or rather Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But it's not going to be a very meaningful amount. We're probably only talking about 1/10 of an inch of precipitation on the high side. So If you convert that in a 10-to-1 ratio, 1 inch of snow, I think, is probably going to be about the ceiling for this event. If you get more than that, you're probably going to be at the top of the leaderboard in terms of how much snow you have accumulating on the ground. Being those temperatures are going to be pretty marginal, I would expect the roads to probably melt this stuff off pretty readily. It's not going to be something that I think causes too much of an impact, but if we still have maybe a little bit of some snowpack Thursday morning on the ground and the roads, it might be enough to slow you down and cause a minor inconvenience. If you do plan on maybe going to work or school on Thursday morning and there is some snow there on the ground, maybe at the most, probably a minor concern for travel issues. So here's your 7-day tracker for right now. Overall, going to see temperatures largely below average through the next 5 or 6 days. We will be above average or around normal tomorrow, but we're back to the 40s and 30s for those high temperatures on Wednesday and Thursday. And again, that chance for moisture really coming through Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Here in Amarillo, it probably will be a little after midnight into Thursday morning, but the further northwest you go, the earlier this event's probably going to try and impact you guys up there. And again, I know it says 39 for the high temperature Thursday, but notice those lows, they're down into the 20s and into the teens. Our dew points are going to dip into the 20s as well, which I actually didn't even show you guys that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those real quick. And this is another reason that we've got confidence that this is probably going to be enough to get snow out of this event rather than the winter precip. So this is midnight. You can see dew points in the 20s. And then we jump over to those actual air temperatures. You can see them right there hovering a little bit above freezing for most of us. But you get into that wet bulb range, and we're probably talking about a temperature around 29 to 31 degrees. So I would heavily favor snow for this event if we are going to see moisture. That's all I've got for you guys this afternoon. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not following us, make sure you are so you can stay up to date with those weather updates that we come out